With that, we move on to the special address number 3 of the Economic Times Intelligent Automation Summit 2021, titled The Future of Shared Services. And it's an honor and privilege to welcome and introduce Aarti Desai, Head at TML Business Services Limited. Aarti, over to you.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to discuss my thoughts about future of shared services. And there are going to be four important things that I will share with you. What is going to be the purpose of tomorrow's shared services? What is the operating model, people capabilities, and most importantly, technology play? Yeah. All of you know this industry, IT, ITES, BPO, shared services. It has matured over a period of time, and originally when it started it was all functional focused. From there it moved on to end. So instead of finance procurement, it became procure to pay. It, it became hire to retire, record to report, so end to end processes. But from the back office, now it has gone ahead and it has become business centric. So from end to end, now the focus is to become take the center stage and become business centric. And I will explain you what I mean by that. So it is business outcome driven. Instead of uh, people looking at shared services only for cost arbitrage or for process improvement, process streamlining, now people expect that whatever business strategies that the organizations have are delivered through shared services. Organizations are more and more looking at shared services to be used as a very reliable uh, partner which can help them do whatever their strategic actions or intents are. If they are moving into a new market, to streamline those processes, to study those processes, aligning them to the standard processes that they have in mind, shared services format is used. For growth, for any particular product strategy, they will use shared services format to roll out those processes and to give them the single version of truth in terms of how that product or that market is doing. So it is used for strategic purposes and not for cost anymore. Sometimes it is used for revenue, growth, markets. So these are all business purposes for which shared services is being increasingly used. Second important point is people expect now innovation and value delivery. Gone are the days when people talk about, how much cost or productivity improvement a shared services is giving. Now people talk about, or they look at shared services as an innovation hub. All the new ideas, new technologies, the all that happens out of a shared service format because core business is doing their own work. It is the shared services which can own and be accountable for anything new that the organization wants to introduce, implement in a structured manner, and deliver the results around that. Most of the shared services which are mature, such as ours, we take uh, uh, cost uh, values as targets, and against that we deliver. So it could be working capital improvement, it could be cash conservation, cash flow improvement, it could be anything. But these are very, very tangible uh, targets that people take and deliver against that. Uh, then most important aspect today is everybody is focused about the customer experience, be it employees for HR shared services, be it vendors for procure to pay areas, be it dealers, distributors, and customers for your commercial areas. Everybody is bothered about customer experience, and shared services are being leveraged to give that experience. And therefore entire customer uh, life cycle mapping is is managed through shared services format, and that's the future going forward. Everybody is going to look up big time for shared services to deliver those digital agendas, to give those digital products, to give that omni channel kind of a experience to the customers. and that's how they are expected to deliver. So as you can see, the entire purpose of why shared services were set up earlier versus new age shared services has changed, and that's how people will look at it. I know some of the shared services which are recently set up. They are set up only for a particular purpose. For example, there are analytics shared services which are set up recently. And the only thing that they don't do any transactional work. The only thing that they do is deliver analytics. So this is one important area which is going to happen through a shared service format, where there is going to be industrialized analytics, and gone are the days where you have historical analysis. Organizations are more and more looking at shared services to look at the huge amount of data that they generate. Yeah, look at end to end processes from a 50,000 global view, and give them as to what is happening, why is that happening, why did it happen, what will happen tomorrow, and all those answers which help them to take business decisions. So more and more visualization, more and more analytics, more and more futuristic instead of historic analytics, uh, business models being driven. So these are the things which shared services of future are doing and are going to do tomorrow. Yeah. Second point is about operating model. As I said, if your focus is going to be how do you effectively deliver your business strategy, then the older operating models are not going to work for you. Yeah. So it's going to be more of a command center instead of a center of excellence. Earlier, as I said, those were functional shared services. We used to have HR shared service, we used to have finance shared service. All that is gone now. It's going to be now a command center which will deliver the purpose that the organization sets for you. Yeah. And these are almost like war rooms. So they are at the center stage. They will define and they will execute whatever are the strategic intents the organizations have. And to do that, they are going to need to be very agile. So there is nothing like, we have a strategy of everything in house, we have a strategy of everything outsourced. It can be a hybrid, and it can keep on changing depending on the intent and the need of the hour. So it's almost like a portfolio approach, where you keep on changing your own operating model, you keep disrupting yourself and keep changing. So something which was entirely transactional focus will now going forward shrink. We will have very few people who will actually do transactional work, because something that is standardized, working effectively, you need not keep on doing. You can outsource that to a third party service provider and gain some efficiencies around that over a contract. And then you can focus on that entire innovation. You can focus on doing something new for the organization. You can focus on bringing in the broken processes and fixing those problems. So it can be completely different, and for that you need a portfolio approach, which is what most of the shared services of future are currently thinking about or have started doing that. Another important angle is about controls, compliance, ownership. I have seen increasingly new shared services are doing that. They are the owners of the global controls program. They are the owners of global compliance program. They are the owners of some of the very high value kind of items which are important for the organization, because if they fail over there, there are regulatory repercussions. All those items nowadays are handled by shared services, and they manage that effectively. Number of people who manage that are very very few, but these are very niche skills that are created in the shared service format and are delivered, so that organization doesn't have to, not many global organizations have to set up their own controls teams, their own regulatory compliance management teams, and stuff like that. That entire thing can be managed in a small team, which is highly expert in those compliances, laws of the land, and stuff like that, and they can deliver that effectively. So that is another thing that is coming up. Global process ownership was always there, but what is most important is the outcome driven actions are expected. As I said, in our own shared service format also, we used to take financial targets, and those are actual financial targets or financial outcomes against a strategic initiative that the organization has set, and deliver against those outcomes. So lot of onus and accountability now shifts onto a shared service format to deliver that, and less rigidity. So it's not that you set up a shared service format, you define the organization structure, and you can continue like that. With the change in the entire scenario, it is the shared service which can easily disrupt itself, break it down, and create a new shape and format. So it's, that entire pilot, fail fast, refine yourself kind of a situation can easily happen in a shared service format than in a core organization. uh, Third important thing is about people capabilities. If the shared service has to do all these things, their people cannot remain static, or whatever they were doing earlier as part of shared services, they cannot. The entire mindset has to change. Entire thinking, capabilities, competencies have to be changed. And if the transactional load goes out and the entire innovation kind of a thing comes to you, then it is all the more important that your people have the capability and the mindset to do that. So, the most important factor over here is democratization of technology. As you have seen earlier, technology was a domain of IT. It is no more. Today, we are talking about intelligent automation. All these uh, mm, mm, uh, people who are in the market and who deliver the robotic process automation softwares, these are driven by businesses. These are not driven by IT anymore. There are teams, digital teams, analytical teams, which are sitting in the shared services. So there is lot of democratization of technology. So there are business guys who are working on these technologies. The tools are made so effective, so easy for the users to handle, so that people can actually lay with that and gain proficiency. I'll give you example of this. When we implemented RPA, we ran the entire learning and development program through our HR for entire core organization. And whosoever wanted to learn that as a technology, we offered that. And there were multiple levels and proficiencies which were defined. And then people had to go through all those different levels, do practical projects, learn, and then in the end there was certification, which was external certification for the proficiency that they achieved. So there is lot of democratization because none of these areas can be done through a small number of people. The entire organization's mindset has to change to become digital savvy, digital first kind of a mindset, and therefore people capabilities are required to change, their competencies from a transaction performer. Now they are not even monitoring the transactions, they have to analyze. And if analytics is going to give you good amount of reports, you need to understand what the story is unfolding and then react according to that. So you need to have different capabilities around that, and it requires entire unlearning cycle, learning new things. And that churn of people capabilities can happen only in shared services, and therefore shared services of future will need to pay a lot of attention on how do they develop people capabilities. The finance shared services definitely need to have good finance people who understand finance, but that's not good enough. The finance person needs to understand analytics, the finance person needs to understand digital, finance person needs to understand automation, finance person needs to understand risk and controls and regulatory and process and all of that. So your capabilities have to become wider as well as deeper. The last and most important point is about global talent. No more can we have shared services centers where your talent is saturated or concentrated only in one center, and we have people sitting here and there. This entire pandemic has changed that structure, and many of us are as of now still trying to figure out how to manage and whether it is completely possible to do the global talent. But I know many organizations who are trying anywhere, anytime, and remote kind of talent. Okay, people preferences have changed. Recently I read one HBR article which spoke about, if these knowledge workers are not given the option and the flexibility, around 40% of them are expected to change jobs only for this one single reason, that they want that work life balance and that flexibility. So advent of gig workers, all these new technology guys, techies, they would need that flexibility, and we will need to give that. So future shared service organizations definitely will need to have a very strong people base who have better and different competencies, as I explained. The last and important point is about technology. Yeah, we know shared services cannot operate without having a very strong technology backbone and new age technology being implemented over there. And therefore all these emerging technologies, where do they start in the organization? It's the shared services where they start. Yeah, so be it any technology, digital analytics, AI, ML, vision systems, any format of machine learning, AR, VR, anything. Uh, all these technologies are expected, and most of the shared services, you pick up any shared services, they will be at the different levels of maturity on this journey. But all of them have started to look at that as the lasting and the most important, I wouldn't say offering, but most important adoption in their business model. And that allows you to be agile, that allows you to make mistakes and quickly change, that allows you, if you buy high cost technology, multiple use cases across the organization. So create once and use multiple times kind of solutions, integrated solutions. So therefore that is the place where shared services is the place where technology will find that ownership and adoption. Another point is about the solution offerings that the technology, new age technology offers, is no more going to be one channel. There are going to be multiple channels. It's omni channel. We as customers know, yeah, we don't want bank to reach out only through one manner. Yeah, none of us visits banks. So banks is a classic example where technology is at its best offered through multiple options. And that is how all the industries who are adopting shared service formats have realized that it has to be omni-channel. It cannot be that I want to have customer focus, but the customer, I will offer only one way, that you come in, you raise your ticket, and only then I'm going to touch your request. It's not going to happen. None of us as customers, as dealers, as end customers, as vendors, as employees are going to accept that you send my request to the back end and then you will process. So whatever happens in the new age across industries, and not necessarily limited to your particular industry, whatever is the golden standard of experience, whatever is the golden standard of process, that is what will be delivered and will have to be delivered by the uh, uh, better mature shared services. And only then their customers will be happy, their management will be happy, and they would feel that they are getting the worth out of shared services. And therefore all the shared service will have to be extremely careful in terms of, how do they look at this intelligent automation space. And IPA is going to play very important role in that end-to-end solutioning kind of a scenario. I'll give you one small example before I end my session. In our customer base, and Tata Motor happens to be one of the largest customer for us, there are going to be end-to-end business process disruptions which are thought through. And our entire focus is that how do we simplify these processes? How do we bring customer at the core and then solution our processes around that? And in order to do that, when you are changing your entire application, when you are changing your entire cloud strategy, when you are changing your entire way of looking at the technology architecture, IPA plays a very important role, because whatever is left out after that, we don't need humans for that. Yeah, the bots, chat bots, transaction bots can do that. If you are doing analytics, then it need not wait for after building that analytical model. Yeah, actually you can add a bot to that, and based on whatever analytics is giving, it can simply go and do the transaction at end of it. Yeah, it need not wait for somebody to review what that analytics is telling you and then go and do that transaction yourself in the system. So that is what is happening in the industry, and that is where the future lies. uh, and this is what I feel. These are my views, personal views, but I'm happy to hear if you have any questions around this. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Aarti Desai, head at TML Business Services Limited, with her insights on the future of shared services. Thank you for those wonderful insights, Aarti. We wish you and TML Business Services Limited the very best going forward. Do stay tuned in, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back in a minute from now with a very interesting conversation around digital.